Thank God my father decided to humiliate my mother in front of the whole family. Every Thanksgiving my dad finds something to ruin. Last year it was politics. Year before that he got drunk and called my uncle a failure. But this year he came prepared. We hadn't even finished the prayer before dinner when he pulled out a bag from his coat pocket. 5 DNA test kits. He slid one to each of us, me, my 2 brothers, my mom, and kept one for himself. My mom laughed nervously like it was a joke. It wasn't. Then he told us why. He said he'd been doing the math for 25 years, and my youngest brother Danny didn't look like him. Never did. He said if we had nothing to hide, we'd have no problem spitting in a tube right now. My mom's face went white. My brothers froze. Grandma at the end of the table just kept eating like she didn't hear anything. Nobody said no. We couldn't. When my dad gets like this, you just do what he says and pray it passes. So we all spit in the tubes while the turkey got cold. My dad mailed the test that night. Said results would take 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks were hell. My mom barely spoke. Danny stopped coming to family dinners. My other brother Damien kept texting our group chat, asking if anyone had heard anything. I called my mom once to check on her and she just said, "Whatever happens, just know I love you boys." That scared me more than anything my dad ever did. Then 2 weeks later, my dad sent one text to the family group chat. Results are in. Everyone will be at the house tomorrow. No excuses. When I pulled up to the house, I saw my grandma's car already there. She never comes early. Inside the house felt like a funeral. Everyone sitting in the living room, nobody talking. My dad had printed out the results. 5 sheets of paper face down on the coffee table. He said he wanted to do this together, as a family. My mom was shaking. Danny looked like he was going to be sick. My dad picked up the first sheet of his own results and read it silently. His face changed. He picked up the second one, then the third. Then he stopped talking altogether. My grandma said, "Well, what does it say?" He didn't answer. He just looked at her with this expression I'd never seen before, like his whole life had just fallen apart. My dad's hands were shaking when he finally spoke. He said none of us were his. Not Danny, not Damien, not me. My mom started crying and saying she never cheated. She swore on her life. But my dad wasn't looking at her anymore. He was looking at Grandma. He said the results showed all 3 of us shared DNA with someone in his bloodline. Just not him. A direct match. But not to him. To his father. Our grandfather. Who died 15 years ago. The room went silent. My mom looked confused. My brothers looked confused. I was doing the math in my head and it wasn't adding up. Then my dad turned to Grandma and said, "Mom, who is my real father?" Grandma didn't flinch. She set her fork down, wiped her mouth with a napkin, and said, "I was wondering when this would come out." My dad's voice cracked. He said, "What are you talking about?" She looked at him like she was tired. Not ashamed, just tired. She said, "Your father couldn't have children. We tried for years. His brother helped us. That was the agreement." My dad stumbled backward. His uncle. The man he'd called uncle his whole life was actually his real father, which meant my dad wasn't a real member of his own bloodline, not the way he thought. And all his suspicion about my mom, all his accusations, all his cruelty, it was never about her. The lie started a generation before she even existed. We don't do Thanksgiving anymore. But last week, my mom texted the group chat, "I'm finally free." She left my dad, and none of us blamed her.